Despite the fact that many fans do not watch basketball for the defensive aspect of the game, one must consider the fact that a good defensive component can elevate a good team into a great team. Throughout the past decade, we've seen numerous examples of riveting defenders, most of whom play down low in the paint, blocking shots, protecting the rim, etc. Guys like Rudy Gobert, Anthony Davis, Tim Duncan, Clint Capella, and so forth. However, on the premise of defensive impact and versatility alone, one defender stands out among any player during the past decade, and his 2016-2017 season has been one of the most impressive stints from any defender ever. The man I am talking about is Draymond Green, and today, I'm going to talk about just how impressive his prime defensive game actually was. First things first, I am going to only be discussing Dre's 2016 to 2017 season here, because I believe this to be the peak of his defensive dominance. But I'll start things off by discussing the stats. Draymond this season was the league leader in steals per game, defensive field goal percentage, and defensive box plus minus. Not to mention, that plus 6.4 defensive Raptor rating that you see on the screen right now is actually the second best out of any player during the past decade, only behind Rudy Gobert, who of course is a story for another video, but we'll continue on here. Evidently, Draymond's defensive prowess can already be seen through his statistical performance. 2 steals and nearly a block and a half per game just screams versatile, multi-positional defender. However, as we all know, stats are not everything, so let's go ahead and discuss the eye test of his actual game. Draymond Green's defensive game holds many facets, so I'm just going to go through them all right now. Draymond is easily the best defender in rotation that I have ever seen during my lifetime. He is always capable of playing great help defense and limiting the opposing team's offensive skill sets. As you can see in these 2 plays that I'm about to show you, he reads the passes and sniffs out the respective shooters, one of them at the rim and the other one from 3. He is able to use his 7-foot wingspan to send the shots back. Same thing on this next block against Kent Bazemore. Draymond springs to action and is able to contest a clutch shot in rotation. He was also mobile enough, especially this season, to stay on the hip of quick guards, in this case Dennis Schroeder, and he was able to pressure these kind of guards all the way into the paint without fouling. And as you can see in this instance, he possessed great positioning and know-how to come up with solid defensive stops on opponent drives. Additionally, he is a crazy perimeter shot contester, and I've never seen someone block as many jumpers as Draymond does. His sneaky long wingspan gives him the ability to get up in players' faces and is a main reason why players shoot so poorly against him. Outside of his perimeter play, Green also held his own down low. Golden State was given the liberty to run small ball because of Draymond's dominance in the post against some lengthier big men. He held opponents to just under 50% at the rim, more specifically 48.6%, which is incredible for someone of his stature. Here, he not only locks down Boogie Cousins' post moves, but he's immediately able to use his keen rotating abilities to lock onto the cutting Anthony Tolliver and meet him at the rim. This kind of big man shot blocking presence provided a sort of duality in Draymond's defense. He could easily be given assignments on ISO ball dominant guards, but on the other hand, he could also be tasked with the quote-unquote big man role, locking on the back down centers and thwarting cutters dead in their tracks. Additionally, as you will see in these 2 clips against Houston, Draymond was phenomenal at guarding rollers and was not afraid to go 1v1 under the basket. Against Capella here, he was able to meet him at the rim and be the jolt that started a transition play. Similarly, as you will see here against Eric Gordon coming downhill, Draymond uses his size to play bully ball and fill in as a traditional shot blocking big man. It is due to this kind of versatility that gives Draymond one of the best DPIPM, D-Raptor, and overall defensive impact ratings of the entire decade. You may remember the 2016-17 Warriors' offensive dominance, but do not overlook the fact that they were also the number 2 defensive team in the league, largely due in part to this guy.